Millions of people use 16-hour or alternate day fasting to control their weight and improve their metabolic health. The regimens are highly effective, but a growing number of people adopting these schedules are noticing a disturbing side effect: pulling clumps of fallen hair out of their shower drain. Today, we are breaking down a newly published clinical trial that links fasting directly to hair loss. We will decode the exact metabolic paradox behind this connection and lay out actionable steps you can take to protect your hair without having to abandon your health goals. A randomized human clinical trial, known as NCTC 05800730, alongside extensive mouse models, has confirmed that common intermittent fasting regimens actively halt hair follicle regeneration. The immediate assumption is that fasting starves the body of nutrients, but looking at this split-screen comparison of the data shows a different story. Mice on intermittent fasting diets consumed the exact same total calories as mice allowed to eat freely. Their glucose tolerance actually improved, yet their hair growth plummeted. Because the caloric intake was identical, we can rule out simple malnutrition. The researchers also ruled out circadian rhythm shifts and standard metabolic pathways. The hair loss occurs independent of when the fasting takes place. We are left with a striking biological contradiction. The exact physiological state that is making the body systemically healthier is actively and selectively shutting down hair growth. Look at this simplified cross-section. Follicles sit in a dormant state until stem cells activate, pushing deep into the skin to grow new hair. Fasting does not harm resting cells. It selectively attacks newly activated stem cells pushing into the growth phase. The trigger starts far away from the scalp. Fasting longer than 12 to 16 hours signals a prolonged period of nutrient instability. It activates the HPA axis, dropping leptin levels and spiking adrenal stress hormones like epinephrine and corticosterone. Those adrenal stress hormones travel directly into the skin, where distinct clusters of fat cells sit right next to the roots of our hair follicles. The hormones command these specific dermal fat cells to undergo rapid lipolysis. The fat cells break down their triglycerides and release high concentrations of free fatty acids directly into the immediate environment surrounding the hair root. This is the body working exactly as designed. The systemic alarm of a fast successfully flushes the hair's microenvironment with highly concentrated fat for fuel. Surrounded by this sudden flood of free fatty acids, the newly activated hair follicle stem cells eagerly absorb the lipids. To process all this fat, the cell undergoes a severe metabolic shift. It ramps up fatty acid oxidation, forcing its internal mitochondria into overdrive. Pushing mitochondria this hard carries a lethal consequence. The intense oxidation produces toxic reactive oxygen species, or ROS, triggering massive oxidative stress. The ROS acts like internal shrapnel, degrading the mitochondria structure and causing severe damage to the stem cell's DNA. Unable to survive the internal destruction, the stem cell undergoes apoptosis. It dies, instantly halting the hair's regeneration cycle in its tracks. The free fatty acids meant to provide systemic energy end up creating a highly localized, fatal overdose for any hair follicle attempting to grow. From an evolutionary standpoint, this mechanism protects us. When food is scarce, the body intentionally sacrifices the energy-intensive process of hair growth to conserve vital resources for essential organs. A brief fast only delays the growth cycle. But continuing a chronic intermittent fasting regimen for 8 months or longer continuously eliminates these newly activated cells, resulting in permanent stem cell loss and visible baldness. You can bypass this biological trap without giving up fasting entirely. The first step is modifying the fasting window to avoid tripping the adrenal trigger. Looking at this 24-hour clock face, we see the danger zones. Dialing back to a 12-hour overnight window provides metabolic rest. Pushing past that into a 16-hour fast sounds the prolonged adrenal alarm and forces the breakdown of dermal fat. The second science-backed method for protecting hair growth targets the cellular damage itself through the use of specific antioxidants. Because the stem cells are dying specifically from oxidative stress, increasing your intake of vitamin E or applying topical antioxidants successfully intercepts the damage. The antioxidants neutralize the ROS molecules, rescuing the stem cells from apoptosis. Fasting past 12 hours spikes your adrenal hormones, floods hair follicles with fat, and induces cellular death. Shortening that fasting window and fortifying with vitamin E stops the fallout. By understanding the specific biological mechanism at play, you can strategically manage your body's stress response. You get to preserve your metabolic health and keep your hair growing strong.